weather's getting warmer and you're probably starting to notice more of these outside. That means it's time to start tackling those big outdoor projects. Billy Derian, host of DIY Network's Extra Yardage, is here. He's going to tell us everything we need to know before we actually start to dig in. Welcome.
Hey.
Nice to have
Rhiannon,
you here.
how are you?
I am
Thanks
great.
for having me. Well, look, obviously spring is here. Look at those beautiful flowers.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to give you the edgy, cool tips about doing your backyard. The first three things are prep, okay? Planning, planning, planning. I feel like it's really important to talk to your neighbors.
Okay.
You know, a lot of people go into a project, they don't hit up their neighbors, you plant trees too close to the walls, invasive root species like bamboo, which will take over their yard.
So you really need to ask them before you do a big project.
You need to talk to them, but more importantly, and here's the big tip, field trip to their yard. Go in their yard, look back and see what they see, right?
Okay.
Because I got to tell you, more people end up in court and litigation over stuff like that.
Yeah, you don't want to block their view or something like
exactly.
that.
Exactly, views or, you know, maybe a treehouse that looks into their master bath. That's not cool. Also, books. We got books here. Okay, people go into nurseries, they talk to their nursery guy, the guy who owns the place. Now that's great, but check this out. Much like your grocer, your butcher, and your sushi chef, they're gonna probably try to sell you the stuff that's been there for a while, or they're overstocked. Okay, so be a little leery. I'm not saying, I don't want to hurt the industry, so I'm not saying not to listen to them, but go in there knowing what you want and don't let them push you into stuff. Okay, and last but not least, weather. People ignore the weather. And I'm not talking just a couple of days that you're planting. Okay, you don't want to be rained out on the second day of digging, but a week to 10 days out.
Okay.
Why?
Why?
Because plants go into shock.
Okay.
And if you're going to have an ice storm, a windstorm, it's going to be hot. These plants are going to wither up and die, and you're going to be really bummed.
Oh, that would be really.
So
you do all that work and then it's ruined.
So that's your prep.
Okay, so moving on to the next tip, if you have kids, how do they factor into your plan for your yard?
Well, you don't want anything poisonous.
Right.
That's totally obvious. Nothing that's poisonous. And
unless you don't like your neighbors.
Yeah, exactly. Or your kids. Kidding. I didn't say that, did I? You know, you got tags on these. Don't buy anything that doesn't have a tag. The tag will tell you if this is a poisonous variety. Don't buy anything poisonous. And look, you don't want to get stung by bees or yellow jackets.
Right.
Don't plant something in the yard that's going to be dangerous like that. Also think about this. The fauna, which is all the animals, if you're inviting deer to munch on all your stuff and rabbits, in 6 months and you have little bald sticks, you're going to be bummed. So don't plant stuff that is really going to attract them like a buffet. Yeah,
it's really interesting that there are so many things to think about that you wouldn't normally think
it's
about.
not just about what's pretty and
you don't just
appealing
get out
to
there
the
with
eye.
a shovel.
Right. All right, and talking about shovels. Okay, listen, digging holes. 75% of the work is in making the holes. People get all these beautiful plants, they stage them around and they think it's going to be easy to put in. It can take 2 days to dig a hole big enough to put a 24-inch box tree.
Really?
Especially if you have hard ground, you have clay, you have decomposed granite or shale. So go out to an equipment rental place and rent what they call a power auger. It's like a big corkscrew. You ever seen one of those?
I have seen one of those.
And it's got a motor on it. Those will dig those holes lickety-split, make it much easier. Also, if you're going to irrigate and put in pipes, a power trencher. It looks like a big chainsaw. It cuts grooves in the ground. Pipes go in easy, then you're done. And speaking of the dirt, last but not least.
Yeah, the soil.
Soil, yeah. Don't assume your ground is going to be good. It's going to be devoid of nutrients most of the time. So you're going to want a good topsoil, a mulch and a compost in the hole. Dig the hole 25 to 30% bigger so you can get a nice fluff in there. And plant foods. And here's the thing about these. People get confused. This is granulated, this is liquid, obviously, right?
Are they both good?
They are, except granulated is a time release, like taking a pain medicine that lasts all day. Okay, so that's for sustained nutrient of a plant, bush, tree, flower. Liquid, you put it in water, it's instant. It's like intensive care for a plant. So if your plants are wilting, they're in shock, go for the liquid, use this for sustain.
Great tips. We're out of time.
Oh,
I know.
have fun.
We're going to talk to you a little bit more coming up later in the show.
Great. Awesome.
Yeah, because we've had fun with you today. So don't miss Billy. He's this fun on a show, if not even more.
Yes.
On Extra Yardage. That is Tuesdays. Well, you are outside. That's on the DIY Network. Thank you again.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Yeah.